4th of March.
Yeah, all day.
Well, welcome everyone to our Monday the 4th of March full council meeting. Go ahead, Mike.
Hiya.
Good, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Little to the left.
Hi, Mike.
Evening.
Mike,
Everybody.
Apologies, I didn't bring your nameplate. I wasn't. You haven't got a nameplate because I wasn't.
You've not missed anything. We're just about to start.
we're just about to start.
Yeah, I thought so. Really a bit late.
No.
You haven't even missed the fire safety announcement yet. Right, where were we? We're on to the fire safety announcement. So fire escapes can be found at both ends of the Hollies chamber. There is no drill scheduled. On the sound of an alarm, all personnel are to evacuate into the Hollies car park. Now this is a bit of a struggle, but I'll try my best to read it out. The council, members of the public and the press may film, record, photograph for live and or subsequent broadcast this meeting only when the public and the press are not lawfully excluded. Any member of the public who attends a meeting and objects to being filmed, recorded, photographed should advise the clerk in advance, who will instruct that they are not to be included in the filming, recording, photographing.
Well done, you got through it.
Thank you. And yeah, and obviously Sean is recording, and I'm trying my best. I think we're going to be live streaming on Facebook.
It's to be clear, are you actually live streaming the meeting or recording it?
Yeah, that's right. Well, it should be live streaming, but it's difficult for me to tell. But it worked last time.
Well, that's the point. I think we have to make it. There is a difference between live streaming and recording.
It should be live streaming.
So, okay.
Yeah. If it doesn't work, I apologise. I hope it's live streaming. It says it is. Right. Item 1, we have public question time. Well, there's 20 minutes saved. Item 2, apologies.
We have an apology from Alan. Councillor Keane.
Yes, and it's, I think we all accept his apology. Item 3, extend leave of absence for Councillor Mike Moxon. A proposal to extend a further leave of absence of 6 months for Councillor Mike Moxon, as he last attended the meeting on the 4th of September 2023 and is granted a leave of absence in October for 6 months. This 6-month leave of absence would run until the beginning of September 2024.
I should be okay by then. I've got a pre-op chat with the neurosurgeon on the 13th of March.
Okay.
It's taken a long time because first of all I went blind, then I said it was o'clock, then they said I phone call some weeks later saying it's not the o'clock, it's a tumour. I come on from there, more scans, now they discovered it is a tumour. So I anticipate it's control.
Let's hope so, Mike.
I'm all happy to extend your leave of absence for as long as you need.
Yeah. Should we propose it?
And do we have to propose? If we do, I'm happy to propose it.
Yeah,
Second it.
Yeah.
All in favour?
Yeah.
Our best wishes.
Absolutely. With Richard having turned up,
Yes, we can.
shall we just go back to public questions? If you wanted to
Am I first?
present something, Richard, because
I'm so sorry I'm late, by the way. My apologies. I'll keep it quick, but for those that aren't aware, I'm in business growth as part of Bath and North East Somerset Council. And I think it's fair to say that there's a perception or there's been an occurrence where perhaps there's been concentration more towards Bath than some of the other areas, Summer Valley area, Tube Valley areas such as that. So part of my role, part of our team's role is to try and improve that, amongst many other things. So the question I had for the council tonight really was, I understand the Chamber of Commerce is no more now for Midsummer Norton. I think as a team you were looking to put a committee together with an angle or looking at businesses and how they can be supported. But really I just wanted to say anything I can do to help that, or any ideas that you might have that perhaps the council could do, we're more than willing to look at. And of course with the Summer Valley Enterprise Zone coming as well, there's potentially, all being well, 1,300 jobs that can be created for this local area. And that was it, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Richard.
Sean, can it be part, you know the High Street Working Party?
Yeah.
Could Richard be kind of tagged in,
Absolutely.
involved with
Welcome
that?
to come along to
I'd love to, Sean, thank you.
the meetings that we're having to do with the High Street. Absolutely.
Yeah, great.
I mean, obviously, I think we have to take the enterprise zone is an interesting project, but we're 10 years away from actually having 1,300 jobs. In fact, we're probably further than 10 years away from 1,300 jobs, so we've got to be cautious about that.
Yeah.
But it's what we can do in the interim between now and 10 years' time that's really where the focus needs to be now, I think. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Brilliant.
And is that enterprise zone actually going ahead?
Well,
There's a lot of arguments against it, aren't there?
it's not my decision to make, but as far as I know, there was a council meeting and cabinet approved it, so I believe it's going ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
So the LDO has been approved, which is the planning commission. The LPPU was approved in January, which is the local plan that changes the definition of the land from agricultural to industrial. So the land's being changed to industrial, the planning permission's been granted.
So it should be happening. Yeah.
Now we'll do this one money.
Yes.
Right,
Thank you.
So, thanks Richard. Right, so good old agenda snakes and ladders. Let's go on to item 4, is that correct?
Yeah.
Excellent. Members to declare any interests which are not currently entered in the members' register of interests, or if he or she has not notified the monitoring officer of it. Does anyone have any declarations of interest they wish to make?
No.
No? And Carlo?
Well, have we clarified the point yet about declaration of interest when it comes to the trusts?
Community trust, yeah.
When it comes to discussing items to do with the town trust, for example, and you've got councillors that already sit on that.
Good point. Well, I mean, I think we haven't. I know that. We do have I'm sure I was told the thing that if we are a representative in an outside body, which many of us are, we have an automatic dispensation because of that. Well, I was told that by someone.
you have to ask for one.
You have to ask one. Okay. Anyway, I would suggest then, though, if anybody wishes to talk on an item and they happen to be a member of one of the trusts, they mention that interest at the beginning of the item. So
Well, yeah, because I know we've got an item coming up to do with the town hall later on, and obviously we've got trustees of the committee, of the trust.
is it generally one of these ones, because it's non-pecuniary, you can say, I have an interest, it's non-prejudicial, and if everyone accepts that, you continue?
Well,
If we said what our involvement was, then everybody can make that decision, can't they? No?
Well, I'm just saying, I don't necessarily have the answers, I'm just saying that in terms of declarations of interest, if you're a trustee, then you have an interest.
Right, in the interest of transparency, it would be worth saying who's a trustee of which trust. We could do that now. Obviously, we all know because we were appointed, but for the benefit of the viewers and the public, we could go around and say what trust you're associated with.
Yeah, I mean, none of the items on this agenda involve. We're not looking at finances here, so necessarily. So that's fine.
Do you want to start?
I'm not a trustee for any of them.
Martin?
Town trust.
Town trust.
Community trust.
Community trust, town trust.
Community trust?
I think Pete Murcock's the on council, don't he?
No,
Oh, really?
no.
I guess West Clues
I think
trust.
under town trust.
Only as a
As
sole
part of
trustee.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're not on the managing
No.
committee. No.
So is that right then? Should I have said that or not?
No.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
everybody
okay.
else is
I
part.
thought you meant capacity as when we discussed that. I was right with you.
Yeah, no. No, that's fine. And Tim isn't either.
It's gone.
It's
Is he
to the
community?
toilet.
Only popped to the loo, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did go.
He's
so-
not on the community one though, is he? No. Okay. Okay, should we move on?
When did Tim leave before the start of the meeting?
No,
No, but
his
he has
laptop's
been
there.
gone for a while. Not that Anyway,
Well, he missed one of the most interesting declarations of interest the council's ever had. Item 5
Put in there.
Confirm previous minutes.
is to confirm the previous minutes held on the 5th of February. They're here. Has anyone got any comments to make?
You got a pen?
No. Thanks. That's all right. Deputy. That's all right. Thank you very much. Thanks. Right, is everyone happy with that? Shall we sign them?
Yeah.
With the imagery, GN. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item 6. Do we have to propose and second the minutes? We used to in the past.
No.
No, we do.
Well,
Should
We
we?
used to.
We used to. Why not? 'Cause it's fun. We'd then like to propose the minutes.
Yeah,
Okay, do you have something to second it?
yeah, and in favour.
Any in favour?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's advisable instead of a legal record of the council
Yeah.
going forward.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you. So, item 6 is a proposal to install the pot-bellied style at Wellbrook at a cost of £645.20 plus VAT.
So was it last full council we deferred this because we hadn't had the costings back? So obviously we now have got the costings, and it was asked for by a member of the public a few months ago to find out where it was and to reinstall it. And it's certainly something, having been doing grant applications, that I feel that I would be able to find a grant to be able to fund this, if that's something that you would like to look into, as opposed to funding it out of the town council budget.
Yeah,
But just a
brilliant idea. Yes.
Well, I would like to propose an amendment that I don't think the Willowbrook Walk is the best place for the style because it won't have a use. And because it has sort of kind of heritage, what's it been used for?
No, it can't.
Well, it
because of
can.
Accessibility.
Well, this is exactly, so this is exactly the use. So the Nature Reserve, which is owned by the Town Trust, has a path, an entrance onto private land which it shouldn't. And it's regularly used. So people see this path, walk onto the private land, which is actually playing fields with the dogs and exercise the dogs, which is a shame. And the path never should have been put there. And I thought, what a wonderful use of the style that actually go at the end of this path to form the boundary of the Town Trust land, so people can't walk onto the playing fields. So the style will be performing its...
It looks as though then it's an actual official point of entry.
Well, I was going to say the style could actually go with a nice little plaque saying what it's for and a little sign saying the entry up to the field, which should be there anyway because people shouldn't exercise their dogs on the playing field. But I thought it would be a actually really good use for the style. So
I think,
rather
well,
just saying
I'm
the
looking
thing.
further that as I can go through it, there's an
Yeah,
old-fashioned style.
Not just a sign saying no entry.
I would still go through it.
Oh, really?
Sorry, that maybe says more about me. But I thought we were using it as a bit of a sort of on a little plinth to go, this was here, and it's a nice old-fashioned style.
there is no money in the budget and you are...
Well, I'd agree with, yeah,
And you are
totally.
over budget
It's
this year.
not.
And you've got another few weeks to go.
We've got a bit of time to decide exactly where it goes, haven't we? Well, this is...
And is that going So, no, sorry, I was interrupting you.
No, sort of just that if anyone comes up with any way that might be suitable in the meantime.
Mm.
Yeah, Teresa.
It only has, it has historic value, it has ornamental value, but it doesn't have any functional value. It won't meet any type of criteria to be used as it was originally designed. So I thought the idea was to place it as close as it can to where it originally was situated, at a point where it'll get maximum views.
Appreciation.
Yeah. So next to the sign on the Willowbrook Walk, where perhaps somebody could react to the sign to explain why it's there.
Yeah.
Perhaps would be my preference, but yeah, I mean, if you just put it somewhere, it loses its significance without some sort of explanation.
Mm.
And there is a lot of this metalwork situated around that nobody appreciates it because they don't actually understand its history or its links to the foundries in Poulton or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And Martin?
Yes, I agree, sure, I think. Because the people that have spoken about it place value on the style. So I think put it in more or less where it was before, in a public place next to the other signage. Historic signage is the best place for it.
And we've also checked that in terms of any scrub clearance or whatever tractors accessing, it's not going to be an impediment to that clearance work. So it's a good place for access point.
And we're in danger of just discussing it again and again.
Yeah.
So careful.
Can we agree that it's going where originally it was going to go? You have to change the amendment, but let's change Steve Flora's amendment.
Oh, I see. My amendment to put it, my suggested amendment to put it on the in the nature reserve. Does anyone want to? Beg your pardon?
I think that fell on deaf ears, but
Did anyone want to second that proposal? No.
No.
Okay. One of my more popular ideas. Okay, big enough to take it. So,
Sorry, can I say one other thing back onto that? If you're going to try and get some funding for it, can we see about getting a nice plaque for it then as well, or not?
yeah,
Or-
I'll put that as part of the proposal.
it's quite exciting,
Do
isn't
you want
it?
to propose that I do that?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
Quite-
Yeah, I'll second that too, yeah.
Yeah.
See what we can do about the funding, yeah.
Yeah, so try to get grant funding for the installation and notice board
Mm.
at Willowbrook Walk
Mm.
in a time frame.
Would it be possible to get an end shed to do the work?
Oh, we probably want to get it looking the same as the signpost that's already there, wouldn't we?
Okay, no, it's fine. Yeah.
Did we have a proposal for that?
Yeah,
And was
that's
there a
great.
proposal?
Yeah.
And who was the
Yeah,
second?
I'll second it.
And was everyone in favour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy to vote for that as well. How truly exciting. First of all, we've heard about the new developments of the island, and now we have the potential sighting of the style back at the Willowbrook Walk. Item 7. I thought it was a show of hands. I'm sorry, this is where it got a little bit confusing. Because there wasn't any mention of a grant in the item on the agenda, so we got slightly sidetracked on the grant. There is no mention of a grant. Is there a mention of a grant there? There's not. So, just to clarify, when I asked for a proposal, it was a proposal to cite the pot-bellied style. And that was proposed and seconded, and that was a vote.
Right.
The grant will have to be something that is resolved separately, I guess, because it's not on the agenda. I don't know.
Just didn't know if the amendment grant
Mm.
was proposed to do it via a grant.
As
So
opposed to
that gets added to the main motion, and then you vote on the main motion
Yeah.
as
Excellent.
amended.
So was everyone aware of the fact that when they were voting
Yeah.
on that, they were voting on
Yes.
the pot and the grant?
Yes.
Good,
Yeah.
that's good. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Charles. Item 7, we're all happy to move on to item 7.
Yeah.
Is, I'll read out the planning application, 24/0015/FUL, the construction of an 18-hole adventure golf course together with the associated soft landscaping, tree planting, demolition of disused toilet, building and new 3-metre high security fence. at the play area in Gallagher Tyning, Midsummer Norton. Now, if I just check. Would anyone, I think the easiest way to do this is, does anyone want to speak against or make a comment against the application?
But the only thing is, we did, some while ago, we were talking in council about the toilet block, and when they were looking to turn it into a drive-through, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And we had said then we would like a toilet to be kept.
Mm.
So whilst I think this is an amazing idea, you know, and once again, we don't have the toilet that we thought would be useful. Because it's not so easy to go into the building and use the toilets in there because of where they're situated and so on. So, but I mean, apart from that, that's just me making a comment. But I think it sounds amazing. I think the kids are going to love it, aren't they?
Right, would anybody else like to speak in for or against the application?
Yeah, I'm definitely for it. I didn't think the old toilet block was going to be used to have a toilet at all. I didn't even think it was a drive-through. I thought it was going to be a kiosk to dish out the clubs and maybe have coffees and teas there.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was. It's irrelevant really if it's gone because they'll.
I think there was talk a while ago about it being a drive-through.
This was a planning application.
There's a planning
What did
application
you
that's
say?
approved for it.
It was.
Does anyone else want to make a comment to it, perhaps?
I'm just confused about what the strategy is, because we went from a planning application to convert it into a cafe, which we've done approved, then to add this golf course, now to destroy the building that was going to be a cafe, to give them an extra few metres on the golf course. It would just be interesting to understand what the strategy is and how it's evolving. I don't know what Bain's take on it will be. It's obviously they lease the Swan Baines, it's Baines owned, but that's not for us to worry about. That's for Baines and as a landlord to discuss. But I share Linda's concern. I mean, it'd be nice if there was an overall picture of a strategy and put to bed once and for all about the issues of toilets. But anyway, I certainly wouldn't be objecting to it. I'm just concerned that the lack of an overall strategy here, or at least a strategy that we're aware of.
Well, my understanding, if anyone else want to come in?
The only thing I would say is it is right next to the sports centre with toilets in it. I can sort of see their situation, whereas that it is something else for them to maintain, and certainly if it's a toilet block, they are kept as part of a toilet block, when literally it's right outside the entrance to the sports centre, and they've also got a cafe in the sports centre, so, you know, to some degree.
Yeah.
And also, it'll be the only 18-hole golf course we've got in the area.
I'm
so sorry, Martin, I'm so sorry.
Very
Oh, all right.
I'd like to chime in as well. My assumption, based on the previous two plan applications which went through, is that they were building an 18-hole golf course with a kiosk/drive-through coffee place, which, as Martin said, is an exact replication without a toilet of what's inside the building. And I would think that it's just been on the basis of non-viability, because you'd not only have to man it with one person doing the kiosk if it was busy, you also have to man it with coffee. Then you come down to opening times. Like I just thought it was a really weird application. But anyway, this one removes that. My concern when you compare the previous to this one is that the height of the fencing was increased by ½ a metre, and I don't think this should be. We should be concerned that that's a very hard barrier that's very now close to the road and not kind of obscured by a building as such and potentially planting, because it is very hard. And if you look at, like, say, the courts, the Muga courts just down from it, they're very, very solid fences. So the material, colour and the density of the fencing has got to be considered.
It looks okay. It's going to be green.
It's
you
the
can see through
thin
it.
wires,
So
yeah.
it kind of looks alright.
I think if you go for the fence that they've put in there, that it's got to be that high, because
It was 2.5 metres before, now it's 3. So
yeah,
I don't know what
it's the type of it's the type of fence put in there. I would say it's got to be.
I didn't notice, maybe it's something since I looked on there, but I didn't see that they confirmed like the distance between the fence.
Like a wire. Yeah,
Okay, that's since I've looked there.
yeah.
So that's the same as the...
It's really inoffensive, I think.
It'd be nice if there was landscaping that kind of was evident through it. And that's all my own concern with it. So if that's for us, with that.
Put some bushes around it.
I believe, I believe that there is going to be quite a lot of soft landscaping at the roadside of the fence, so the fence will be obscured by the trees and the hedge. And originally I was quite concerned about the height, as Tim mentioned, but then I thought about this a bit more, and the actual leisure centre isn't actually that much of an aesthetic gem. And the grey sort of exercise courts at the back aren't that pretty either.
No.
So actually I thought having maybe some sort of soft green landscaping which then blends into the background might not actually be that bad a thing. As far as the previous application did talk about having a drive-through coffee kiosk, although since then I believe there is the opportunity that another drive-through or similar style operation may be opening in Midsummer Norton, and that
It won't. Proposals don't suggest that it's going to have a drive-through.
No, but I think that if the McDonald's application went through, I think a lot of people will drive to that car park and have coffee in the car park, I imagine. That's what McDonald's are hoping. So I think as well, if you look at the old plans, that the toilet block did use up a lot of room on the actual, and if you've ever played 18-hole mini golf, you like to get a bit of space to move around. So that was my understanding of it.
Yes.
18.
It can be quite tight.
Did you see the sand bit and the swinging bit?
Yeah.
Oh, sand's all gone. It's all gone.
Yeah, but it goes all the way around to that climbing frame that was there. That's right.
No, I think they're keeping that side. They've got a
It's
set of
half,
equipment.
Right.
So I think
Okay.
it only goes up. Gosh, that's nothing big for 18 holes. Yeah.
It does take up pretty much all of the front.
Yeah, it's very much like taking a lot of
Okay.
public
Yeah.
space.
So it does
into
go all
private
the way up
space.
to the skate park. Yeah.
So
The mugger.
Ah, cool.
Not
Yeah.
the skate park, the mugger.
it's very much enclosing
That
what.
side of the mugger side of the
That's the mugger there.
Yeah.
And so it's basically putting a hard barrier all around the outskirts of
Yeah.
what was kind of public space, really.
And is it themed, like you were suggesting?
got mine.
It is themed, is it?
Mine is.
They're hoping to have a little miniature replica of the Radstock Wheel. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's going to look a lot nicer than literally the courts and even the skate park, Much as that's used and loved, it's not the prettiest of things, all that concrete. So I think it, personally, it looks nice.
So are we happy maybe to come up with a positive comment?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go with it.
What would that entail? Looking forward to playing golf now?
To increase the leisure activities
Similar to the last
in
one.
Midsummer Norton.
Some of the last one, isn't it?
Just a concern that, how they should make sure that fencing is. Well, they want it to be good fencing anyway. If you want to see through and see there's actually a golf course.
They are putting hedges and bushes and everything in front of it as well. I don't think you'd be offended by it, let's put it that way.
I mean, I think the worry is if they don't get the security right, it will be an
Yeah.
attraction
Oh,
for that
yeah.
behaviour, which should be really disappointing.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we kind of consolidate that into something that Kate could
That's why I've
make
been
sense of?
dropping around, I can make sense of it.
What have we got then, just to check everyone's happy with it?
Well, I'm just noting down, amazing idea, but toilet block being removed, kids love it, no objections, lack of strategy, toilets are within a leisure centre, height of fencing concerned, high barrier, planting would be preferable, density slightly higher than previous application, fence. This is notes, obscured by hedges and trees, more anaesthetic, that's not how you spell it, blends into background, takes a lot of public space.
Since I looked at it, there is more stuff on here, and I haven't checked it since then. It's got a hedge line along the sort of south boundary, which is nice enough. Depends how high that gets as well, I suppose. It's just always a concern when you take something out of public and put it into kind of private defence. That's just my concern with anything like that.
Okay.
No, I agree, it's going to change the whole scene. It's a shame that they didn't come up with a kind of artist's impression if I got time to look, because we have not done that.
Yeah, and I think that might be something that comes along, but you'd expect it to kind of already be there for consultation responses. But then they can always revisit it, because you'd ideally like to see it kind of, because it's like a junction there with a lot of people that come and drive through it. You kind of like to be able to drive up to it and see it from that perspective at least. It would be that hard to create a nice impression of that, I would have thought.
And in terms of comment though, do we want to come up with something quite concise? Really? I mean, if we're in favour of it, just to say that
If
we're
we're in
welcome
favour,
proposals?
we're in favour.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Just support the proposal.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can always put something together and then wing it out by email. Just
Well, as we can do, it's find it's
I
best if
think
we
the
can try and
deadline,
resolve
the
stuff in
deadline's
meetings.
quite tight.
Yeah.
Yes. Just
Sorry, just one thing, people do actually travel for this sort of thing.
Yeah.
They really do, you know? And once they're here, park that,
on the away days.
But just be aware that it's a planning application, so we're supporting a planning application. We're not endorsing a leisure activity. This is a planning process rather than
yeah.
a letter of support for a development as such.
That's a yes, we approve.
Yeah.
No objection.
No objection or support. Can we say
Some of
support?
Yeah.
Some of the documents are also inconsistent as well, but some of these relate to the previous application, which refers to the support of the replacement coffee block rather than the toilet block and stuff, so it's a bit of a messy application to be honest. You'd expect, like, there's a letter of support where Dragonfly reference toilet removal here from the 11th of the 1st. It's just, come on, sort it out.
Maybe we could add a footnote, sloppy paperwork.
Well, I've basically picked one myself.
I believe that we have. Do we need to vote on that for to support the application?
What?
No.
Proposal.
Yeah.
We're just going to go with a simple statement. Then we support the application.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a proposer.
Yeah.
Some seconders.
No.
Seconder. Well done.
Yeah.
All in favour?
Yeah.
Just to support the application. And that's quite simple. Well done, everyone. Item 8. Policies. We have a proposal to approve and adopt the Civility Respect Councillor Officer Protocol. Would anyone like to say that they've read it?
Yes.
Well
Yeah.
done. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does anyone want to propose that we adopt this?
Yeah.
Excellent. Anyone to second that?
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, we have a proposer and a seconder. Do you want to make any further comments?
No.
Or house?
Other than it's a brilliant idea.
It's good, isn't it? I think it's probably quite important because it does sort of define the relationship we have to have between each other and between officers and officers with us, which is it's a good addition that not all put together. Okay, if we want to take a vote on adopting that then, all in favour?
Yeah. All in favour. Yeah. We've done that.
Have you done it already?
Getting voting happy.
Item 9 is just as exciting. It's the proposal to approve the annual insurance. The proposal is to approve the annual insurance for 24-25. Does anyone make a comment?
Before you comment, I have been chasing the policies. She did say she would send them today. I did send out this morning, hopefully you all got it. I'm just bringing it up. So she emailed me late Friday saying that the quoted, we have to go out to 3, let me start from the beginning, we have to go out to 3 because your class as a beat council, there are very limited operations. There are only sort of 3/4 insurance brokers you can go to. You're with a broker anyway. I went to another broker and because they use the same insurance company, they couldn't quote unless you went to them as a broker. But we're happy with the broker at the moment, so it's a bit confusing. I then went to a insurance company and they can't quote because you have a contract works insurance at the moment, which is quite hard to get hold of. So I am recommending for this year, staying with your current insurance. They came back with a quote late Friday for 711,283. She did say she would send over the policies and stuff today. They haven't arrived. do need some sort of agree in principle by the end of the month, because it will start from the 1st of April. So it is a bit of up in the air. I have chased and chased, but it hasn't arrived. So that's the insurance for 7112. It has come down. Last year it was 1416. It's come down because last year you had everything in it. You had, so what has come out is the Soma Centre has come out, the Unit 14 has come out, and Orchard Hall has come out. Because they're insured by other people. I did initially take out Welton Rovers, but I've had to put it back in because in the lease it says the town council covered the building insurance, so that went back in. So that has brought it down to 7112. As I said, it's still the group personal insurance policy and the extension of the contract. So I haven't, and then the cyber insurance. So it is all a bit difficult because I do need some sort of agreement that you can leave it up to us to decide, because it does run out at the end of the month.
Just one question, Kate. Was there anything apart from the properties that you still have taken out, was there anything fundamentally different between, so you've still got the not Keyman insurance, the fidelity guarantee?
Everything, yes, all that is still in there. The only extra thing that is extra is the cyber insurance, because we've been recommending to get the cyber insurance. So that then brings us on to upgrade the security, multi-factor authentication, I can't say the words, but
Authentication.
Yeah. Which is a bit like one-time password. You know, Linda, we will have to get you definitely on the council emails for that to be active. And BitLocker, which is an encryption. So,
Chair, can I make a proposal then? Obviously with the annual insurance policy, we know that needs renewal. Before we get round to discussing the cyber insurance and everything else which is new, could I make a proposal that we delegate the power to the clerk and the deputy clerk to obviously renew the insurance policy, given that we got the quote for £7,112.83 and that there are fundamental changes in terms of the cover, apart from the fact that certain assets have been removed. Given that we also need to get it renewed before the 1st of April. And that's Easter.
Yeah. And before the next council meeting.
So that's my proposal.
So
There is a proposal. Does anyone second chair? Second from chair from Martin. Does anyone want to vote in favour of that proposal, which is to give the clerks the...
Can I ask a question? Who's insuring all the other buildings?
sorry?
Insures all the other buildings? Soma Centre?
I don't know, because it's all done under the community trust.
So the town trust insures the Soma Centre and
Orchard Hall.
No, I don't think it does, because the town trust has got nothing to do with Orchard Hall. It was confusing. I think Baines might still be the owners, and the community trust are taking out have the lease with it. So I think Baines insure it and community trust have the lease for Orchard Hall, so they insure that. Unit 14 is insured by
community trust. That's what Alex said.
Building trust, not on the
Yeah, I thought that Baines was.
I think it's Baines as well.
Baines must have
Yeah,
the buildings.
Yeah, so if you rent a property off someone, they're responsible for
Yeah, it's like the
building.
buildings and your contents.
If you need to get content insurance, it's up to you, generally speaking.
Yeah, but we did make sure that it was the case that it had been double insured last year, and I think that was because there was a local clerk that just insured everything without necessarily realising the breakdown. Hence it was such a big insurance.
That's his use of it, yes.
So it is 7.1 thousand. Then you've got the extension of contracts of works. I've asked to take it to the end of July, although we're due to finish in April, because if we then ask for another, we've had 2 extensions, if we ask for another one, it's going to be quite difficult to extend it
Why don't you
again.
take it to the end of the year?
Well, they've said 2 or 3 months, so we're taking it back until July.
Okay, alright.
So, okay. So you're happy to approve delegation to the clerk. And what about the cyber insurance?
I was assuming we were voting on that with a recommendation, isn't it? Do it all separately.
And we should be able to do it together, shouldn't we? I think.
The cyber insurance would be, so the annual insurance, you would be sticking with James Hallam, who are a broker. The cyber insurance would be done through James Hallam as well.
We could have got that one.
Well,
No?
yeah, I would say so,
Yeah.
surely. I would personally, but
Yeah.
go.
It would be recommended and surely part of our risk assessment as well.
Because the internal auditor has picked it up.
Is it not or not? Because actually, there's plenty of ways that they can wriggle out of it because cyber risks are changing all the time, aren't they?
But there's nobody that wouldn't recommend it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if you're agreeing to go cyber, do you then want to upgrade the security to BitLocker, which is encryption,
A bit lockers for local machines.
and MFA? Well, it's done on 365, so it's Slow Vision would do that.
BitLocker would be a system for encrypting a local device, like a laptop. You encrypt a cloud service because it's something encrypted.
No, yes, no, it's not encrypted. The cloud service is not encrypted.
So they're separate for two-factor two-factor authentication. That would mean that when we log in, we have to do two.
I think it's a multi-factor thing. I haven't used it before, so.
You get a one-time passcode.
It's annoying, but yes.
It is annoying, I know.
Is this to access the Microsoft 365?
So you'd have to go to Microsoft Authenticator. That's two-factor authentication and password and then that. At the moment, we don't have to enter anything in.
Sorry, what about accessing what exactly?
Anything with data within it.
If you're trying to get, I don't know,
Well,
when
you
you access
an
your...
email and you click on a link from the email.
No, just to log in initially to Outlook.
Well, every time?
No. Once it trusts your computer, it'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a little confused. Are you trying to say we should switch to this? Because this is already in Microsoft 365. You can just enable it or disable
No,
it.
it's not switched on.
Right.
I thought it was.
No, it's not. I spoke to Say Vision, it's not switched on.
First time we looked
Yeah, I
at it,
had
pretty
to
sure,
do it.
we used it actually, it's a good point.
Because I just
But not every time
that's
that's
my
a good-
No, if
email,
you're
so
trying to trust your
I
device.
had to do a two-step thing.
Yeah.
But I don't really understand it.
And this is managed.
So that was once, or every time you log in?
No, just for that initial setup after I'd managed to mess it up.
But what you would probably find is that if you wanted to access things on a shared drive, documents on a shared drive or something like that, then you may be asked to do two-factor authentication to
It
get
does
into
just
shared
say to
documents.
enable it,
But this is just it's a Microsoft thing. It's nothing to do with Vision.
No, because Say Vision are RIT, they would need to enable it.
Well, no, I just think that
Yeah.
we do. But never mind. I think it's in the Microsoft Cloud. But anyway,
Remind us how much it is, Kate.
26250.
Can we just pay for it?
This is for installation, apparently.
But there's no
Hang on, is that
installation.
so vision?
Right,
When you say
Oh, two
It does seem a little bit
Can we
security
take,
word
can we
thing.
take this then to finance and ops?
Yeah.
In a fortnight? Yeah, okay.
I think it's okay. Is everyone happy with that?
Yeah.
Right, well done. So just to recap, so we've approved insurance, or we've delegated commission, and we're moving on. Item 10. Now, I think a few people have suggested that Mayor's announcement should go back to the beginning of the agenda, because it's one of the main reasons the public come. They don't want to sit through the entire meeting, so back to item 1. No?
No, I disagree with that.
Or can you just get it out?
I mean, to be honest, this one's a bit better. This one's only got 20 pictures of you in it. The last one had 28. So, 28 pirate hats is quite extreme for any document. It's
You're reading it.
okay. I think the main reason most of here is for the business of council, and I think the structure now is reflective of the priorities that we've got, and the priorities that the public would want to come and hear about. So I like the current structure of the agenda personally.
Okay. The only reason I raised it was just because for the last 7 years we've always had mayor's announcements. We used to be like just item 2 or 3, and then the clerk's report would come, and then we move on to business. But is it fine? If you're happy to have mayor's announcements at item 10, that's
I
actually
would
fine.
just add to that either of those two things are not very long articles, because obviously in mayor's announcements it could just refer to the fact that there's a document on the website which is a good hook for any public. So there's absolutely no reason to have it in a very short early item on the agenda alongside the clerk's announcements, which is a very important thing for the public to hear as well, which also gets recorded by the press when they're in attendance. So I don't see why there's an argument about it.
The reason I put it at the end is because we've had meetings where you've got to the end and you've had to rush the decisions towards the end. I was suggested to put all these announcements at the end, so again you're doing the business first and you're giving time to the business, and then if you don't have enough time at the end, your announcements and updates can be short. That's the reason why I moved them.
Yeah. I mean, one of the reasons I did always start to originally mayor's announcements, I submit them in advance, so there was no time spent.
Yeah, so
Nobody actually asked the
on
question.
the premise that there was an announcement that was a separate document hosted on the website and referred to with a quick tagline, that can solve that nice and quickly. But then again, those two things also act as, especially the clerk's announcement, it's a nice introduction to the meeting and something that logically comes first. Because we usually just crack into it straight off the bat. There's no like formal kind of like, oh, this is what's happened since then, so this is this meeting. It's misaligned in my opinion. I prefer to see it early.
We're not exactly queued up with the public coming to listen to the mayor's announcements, are we?
Don't miss the point.
So the point is that we're here to make decisions, and I prefer to do that. And the niceties at the end, if we run out of time, it's not going to stop the process. That's
not really valid. It's not like a reason. It just said it takes seconds to do.
It doesn't. It hasn't taken seconds. That's why it got moved.
I don't really see what your problem is with it.
Internal.
But it wasn't. It was that whole section.
Yeah.
That whole section of that and reports from outside bodies and all of that. All that stuff that can go to the end and we don't have to vote on. So if we run out of time, it's not going to affect the process. So I think that was the idea, was to get the job of making decisions out of the way, and then the niceties can happen at the end, and we haven't got time pressures.
I mean, the point about the outside bodies one is an uncontrollable kind of time scale that can be done there, but with something as disciplined as mayor's announcements referred to in the document available on the website, hooked to it, and the clerk's report, which is controllable by her. I think those two things are separate.
But it
Well, I was going to say, I think it's a fair point. I think one of the ideas of the newsletters, people could submit their and I did suggest this to the previous council, if anybody has anything lengthy to say, they should try and submit it in advance, because everybody loves reading stuff in advance. We probably don't have enough time to go on about this item forever at the moment. Does anybody have any questions about mayor's announcements?
No.
Apart from Sean, has anyone actually read it?
I flicked through it, but
Thank you.
I've done it today.
Thank you. Anyway, so that's absolutely fine.
But can I just put to Tim that it was one of the internal auditors' recommendations to us that we rejig the agenda.
Is that in review of our meetings, like
Yeah.
how they went?
I didn't see that. Is that somewhere we need to look at that suggestion?
Is that in the report that was produced, or is that a recommendation made directly to you?
Maybe to me, I'll have a look.
Yeah. It'd be nice to see any other comments. It'd be nice to see if the auditor actually made any recommendations about how I could improve mayoral announcements.
But can I just say that if the public do come, it's usually for a specific reason. They don't just rock up to see.
Mayor's announcements.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just that, but that they'll come to have something specific to say, to put to the council, or to hear what we've got to say about a specific agenda item. And I do agree that we kind of should be dealing, going through
And
those.
that's the exact point we should make, is that that's the composition of the agenda by the clerk in reference to the mayor as to what should be prioritised and brought to the clerk.
Yeah,
So that can be done in any meeting bespoke, essentially, with any contentious items, can't it?
I think you'd be consistent. What you saying?
You can put an agenda item wherever you want, it's up to the clerk.
Yeah, I know,
and the mayor.
but yeah.
You ought
I
to
was
change.
just saying,
And actually we can-
important things
Hmm.
first for the public.
We are allowed to, I was going to say sorry to interrupt, but we are allowed, it's one of our standing orders, is we can at any time change the order of the agenda just for fun. If we're all happy with that, depends on how you define fun. Moving on from mayor's announcements, finally. Item 11, to note reports from the following committees and to ratify any actions, and then it kind of continues to receive an update from the chairs of the following committees. The planning committee, please note the meeting on the 19th of February was cancelled, so assuming there's no update from the council meeting, that's good. And from the finance and relations committee,
That's me. Yeah, now the draft minutes are published in the agenda items, so I'll just refer to those so I don't make any mistakes. After all the business, it was the approval of payments, signature of the monthly bank reconciliation. Then the reviewing the two policies, dispensation policy and the civility respect councillor officer protocol. The dispensation policy was deferred as there some questions seeking some clarification about aspects of that. I can't remember what they were in detail, but that will come back to the Finance and Ops Committee. The committee resolved to refer the civility and respect protocol to the full council, which we've just discussed and approved. We reviewed the asset list and the proposed to dispose of certain items, so we discussed that and we approved that. Then there was the proposal for recommendations following the final external auditor's report, and there were no recommendations from us, so that went through. There was grant application, we clarified from the previous month, there was some questions the farmers market grant, and that had all been sorted and through contact with the farmers market, so that's all on as it was before. And then finally we approved or resolved to contribute £2,250 a year for the next 2 years to help cover the cost of deputy clerks studying of the community governance course. That was it.
Thank you, Mark.
Can I interrupt? There will be a planning meeting in 2 weeks' time. The agenda will not go out though until Tuesday evening next week, because I'm away for a long weekend, and we had a discussion today because we're discussing the 60 houses is on the agenda. We were proposing maybe swapping location, but we had a discussion today in the office that if you do get lots of people here, we will rearrange and you will just have a line of people here and then you've got more room. We thought it would be confusing if we changed the location.
So when
We'll just
when
transfer
did you
more
say it
chairs.
was?
Yeah.
When did
I
you
think
say?
hopefully that won't happen, and we've got a residents meeting on the 11th, so hopefully that will take
Tim.
Can I ask a question to Martin as the chair of the...
Eating.
Yeah, certainly.
Item 8, obviously the contribution to Deputy Clerk study was approved. Was there anything put in place to protect the council's investment in that court?
There is
drawn up a training fees agreement.
Okay.
I will be signing an agreement.
Okay.
Obviously Katie wasn't at that meeting, but that had been, I forgot to mention it, it had
Okay.
been pre-discussed. I haven't yet signed it, but I will.
I just need to make sure that it's all legally compliant, and then we'll get it signed before any money exchanges hands, because once we're given the money, then it's difficult to put the agreement in place.
Yeah, it's good practice.
So getting back to the planning meeting on the 18th, Sean, remind everyone where that meeting, the residents' meeting is on the 11th. Where's it going to be held?
We are going to check, we are steering off a little bit from council business.
I'm sorry, which is that?
Okay, we can go on if you like, but just say that residents meeting is...
So the reason that Kate has mentioned the potential issue with the next planning meeting is in case a lot of residents turn up interested in the revised development at Orchard Vale, and the fact there may be a lot of public interest. We might, that may not be an issue because we have a residents meeting on the 11th of March at Rovers, 7 o'clock for residents. We're hoping Curo may come along as well, so hopefully that will allow residents to understand the developments and to understand the issues of objections and stuff. So hopefully we won't need a bigger room. So, but Kate just made a provision just in case. So that's
So what was the date again?
of the residents meeting.
Yes.
It's the 11th
Hosted by Sean's and Bates Council.
11th of March.
March. Yeah.
Martin Rovers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a formal meeting, it's just that forum, I guess.
Call it whatever you like.
It'd be nice if we could maybe go and show our faces, show our support to people, but, you know.
Well, I'm glad, as I say, I'm glad that the planning meeting is going ahead because it is mentioned in the newsletter. 6 p.m. So, is that right? March. Yeah. Right.
So anything else that comes in between now and when the agenda goes next week, I won't be sending the forms out because you're having a meeting, it will go on the agenda.
Do you think if we can we do that anyway? Because it would just resolve points like
Yeah,
that
I
aren't
think
necessary to cover in the meeting. It allows more time for any contentious issues, isn't it?
Yeah, just in case.
And yeah,
Yeah, that's fine, I can
I
send.
think this is a format we should use.
Oh, yeah, well, I've got
I'm
that.
liking it.
Is it appropriate to discuss it now, or should we discuss it at the meeting? Because that's what I don't know. If there's
Talk about
if there's
planning
feedback, if we add it as agenda items, then that'd be good.
Like
That's a
the
really
form.
good idea. To be
I
honest.
like the planning form.
Is it appropriate to ask for agenda items and
Yes.
ask for it as a review and
Yes.
feedback? Brilliant.
Excellent.
Moving on.
Yeah. Right. Item 12 is reports from town councils working parties for information, verbal updates, and to consider any recommendations for decisions from the following working parties. Drum roll. Community Alcohol Partnership.
Still hasn't had a first meeting, and obviously Gemma left. I still have conversations monthly with the police, but we haven't formally got a community alcohol partnership in operation yet, which is a frustration. People with issues in the town, but yeah, that's where we are.
Drum roll again. Item 2, the Town Council Strategy Working Group. Currently we are not working towards a strategy, but we hope to at some point in the future. Item 3, High Street Working Party.
Yeah, well, we're going to schedule a meeting for, it's probably looking at April, we're waiting for feedback from Haynes. There's no point having meetings for the sake of meetings, so we need to make sure each of these meetings is meaningful and provides updates, and it looks like April will be the first time we can do that from the last one. So.
Excellent. Item 4 in the reports is the Media and Communications Working Group, which you'll be pleased to know has produced another fantastic council newsletter packed with mayor's announcements and interesting information about flooding, with some wonderful puns, including the Welly Brook Walk. Come on, I'm so chuffed when I come up with it. So that's really good. The newsletter continues to be very, very well received, averaging about 200 downloads, which is actually really good. And the Facebook Reel version got over 1,000 views, which is excellent. So people out there do actually engage with it, so that keeps the
We're just waiting on
information
my
going.
reports.
Yes,
I'll get you tomorrow.
that's it. We're in draft form still, but it'll go out. And also I was going to
We
say,
need to check the word spelling of Ainley, I think we should have to go.
I wasn't sure about that either, but I mean, I'm not that able to spell it, but I did check it because it didn't look right. And also Welly, when you actually see Welly written down, you're going, I don't know if that's the correct spelling, but I digress. Do you think so? Well, I thought that, but then...
Well, that's plural. I think one welly is just with a Y.
Yeah,
A welly boot,
A welly
a
boot.
Welly bit.
or welly boots.
Exactly.
These.
Do you-
Yeah.
Do you feel free to contribute to the newsletter? And it might dilute the number of pictures of me in it.
It's the only way, isn't it? That's the mechanism. Present and contribute, or be proliferated.
There you go. Right, so item 5, the neighbourhood development plan, and that is also currently not being actively developed.
Can I say on that one? Obviously, we've got the Baines local area plan consultation, so I don't know what changes Baines have made when they last did it in 2017, whatever when I was dealing with it. So I don't know whether is that going to planning committee for the town council to make a response on the local area plan? Because obviously what I'll do is I'll look at that and then align it with what the neighbourhood development plan says, but obviously it will be useful to understand what the town council's response is going to be to the new proposals from Baines.
It's a really good point, Cheryl. Does that does require a working party of some sort to formulate a proper response, doesn't it? The planning.
Working.
Well, it's not really a committee item. It would be done
It's
at
a
a
planning
committee.
committee discussion point.
Okay.
We,
So when the consultation doesn't last that long.
no, we need to do the
It's only-
timescales of that
Yeah.
to get the consultation response in.
So you don't want it on the planning committee? I just wrote it down, but I can cross it
It
out.
depends which one, yeah.
When is the deadline for responses?
I think it's mid-April.
Mid-April, so we've got Easter in the middle.
We'll get 2 meetings in for that. Is it 2 plan meetings or not? I don't know.
I'll put it back on anyway, so then it's down as formal.
Yeah.
Some bedtime reading then.
One quick suggestion on item 12 I'll say is, shall we, for the sake of brevity, ditch a few of these items for the moment until they're likely to require some input. Otherwise we're sort of reading out all these items and it's just frustrating. So
Well, I can just change it
yeah.
to verbal updates to consider any recommendation or decisions from from working parties.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's
perfect.
and
Until
that's
they're
it.
more active and we have to have them listed, that's super. Right, thank you very much. Item 13 is reports from councillors representing the town council and outside bodies. Then I'd like to give a quick verbal update.
I'll start.
Representing the council. There you go, Mark.
Yes, the community trust. Again, so we've had partial, as the council representative on the community trust, or one of them. I've had meetings with the fair organising committee, so we started organising the summer fair, and the music and arts festival organising committee. We've had meetings, 4 meetings of those, and both those are progressing well in all respects. And then we've had at least 1 or 2 management committee meetings. The smaller number of us are on discussing, they want to chip in the website, develop a new website for the community trust, and grant applications for resources and performance resources, PA and stage equipment, things like that. That was the last meeting. Another meeting? Was that it?
I think that was the last face-to-face meeting for the community trust. But yeah, we put a large capital grant application to try and get kit so we can run more events and not have to hire events, and then the trust, if it was successful, could then rent that equipment out to the community. One of the items we've asked for is a generator, for instance, which we use. So fingers crossed. The community trust has almost got its new website live. There's a nice little piece about it in the newsletter. And yeah, it's going well, isn't it? Yep.
I think that some feedback from our side is when organising events, like think about the other activities that are happening in the town park on the same weekend. So the first Saturday of the month is the Walton Rovers, is the Walton Baptist Runners.
Yeah.
So we have to deconflict that now with the.
Well, we thought that last year that came up.
And it was a
We're
big.
not going to deep into that time, but yeah, it was. We stopped the putting. You know, we had a stop putting the event on. We did a certain amount, but it didn't work on another day. So we've ended up with the same day again. So there's no other. There's because the summer's so busy. It's difficult to find other weekends when we could put it on. And it needs to be, not too close to the fair, 4 weeks or so away. So, yeah.
It's just going to take careful management from the office.
Yeah. Well, we did last time. I think we were last year, didn't it? Did it not?
That's
Right.
just, you probably would have thought this internally, but in terms of when the dates are released, is there any way to make it a lot earlier? So, because
Make what earlier?
make the announcement of dates earlier. So,
Right.
so really, if you think about town trust assets, community trust as a priority, especially from our perspective, we would prefer the community trust to be delivering events whenever they can. So anyone else then who tries to double book is kind of coming second.
Yeah.
Because in terms of timing, so it's almost like we know, when all the major things are happening.
Yeah.
Is there a sort of timeline that can be brought forward slightly, or just like basically it's a running kind of like? It's just an open comment.
Well, the first thing is on Gordon's the newsletter, when he mentions the community trust, he mentions about the trust being a sort of conduit or hub for all the events and communities that the groups that are in the town. So the future, I hope that all these things will be coordinated. And the part of the reason for doing the website again is that the calendar isn't up and running, so the events aren't, and they should be. And that's
where
within our
announce that,
control as volunteers. So ideally that they would all be up and running long in advance. And until we've got, specifically with events, until we've got things formalised, we won't publicise them in the press. So we get more questions.
I guess
but the dates are set, and they should be on the calendar, and they should be
I guess that's the problem,
with
isn't
other
it?
people, especially people that are using the same facilities. But I understood that was happening. But yes. But, so there we go. Yeah, I'll take all that on board. But yeah.
Certainly one of the objectives of the Community Trust is to become an event aggregator. So it's kind of, because we do, the Trust obviously manages lots of events, but it can coordinate with other clubs to become an event aggregator, because one doesn't exist for the town, and that should help. The other one is, it's not really, but it's probably worth mentioning, the Town Trust has been making some progress. So the Town Trust business plan has been updated with the new Town Trust Management Committee members' pictures on it. We have got a skeleton website up, and now it's there, it's running under towntrust.co.uk, so if you now scan the barcodes on the notice board, at least goes to a live web page, which is a bit better. Hoping to start putting some interesting content up soon, and Town Trust management people at least have their own Town Trust email addresses. If anybody else wants a Town Trust email address, just ask. It's quite neat. Towntrust.co.uk, it's a really good address.
Have we got it like activate them?
Well, you just have to, they're activated, you just have to, I think I sent details to you.
Okay, I don't think I have them.
I'm just going to go
But
in
it's
and
so
log on
easy
with
to
the
do.
password.
It's just
Not-
not
it's not so
You've not given us a password.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'll give it again.
but then I deleted them, so I don't know what they are.
Okay.
Anyway, so that was quite good. I think if anyone's got ideas though for putting stuff on the Town Trust website, which we want to become a kind of a repository for heritage things, historical things, useful things that wouldn't necessarily fit on the council's website or on the Community Trust website, to throw them in. The first one, I really want to get some nice walking tours. And that might link it out to the audio trails, for
I
instance.
think there's a really interesting scope for the Town Trust as it is right now, sort of looking at and representing physical assets, and that there's a potential amount of information and data assets that we can accumulate and have that, and it would act as a nice kind of draw, similar to link again through the triad of you've got kind of events, assets and management, then haven't you? There's roles potentially developing of the three bodies. So really like the idea of digital assets.
Yes.
I was approached by Sam Plummer from Youth Connect, and so him and I and Jane Lewis from Youth Connect had a chat about, and you were invited later, about this offering a youth club or adding to the Youth Connect Southwest provision, and they currently run a similar club, a youth club. We were thinking that we would like to provide, so they're looking into that, and they it's quite a helpful discussion, because they could tell us what else was going on in the surrounding area. So how a new youth club, which we're thinking maybe use the Summer Centre, or would fit into the range of provision that's there in Westfield and Radstock and Porton, and how young people use all these different facilities. Midsummer Norton students move, Midsummer Norton, young people go to Porton, go to Radstock and Westfield, so it isn't just, people don't just go to the youth into their specific area. So it's interesting to get that feedback from them, and also about from their experience of working with young people what they think would work and how it would work, so we could sort of work on planning our extra provision using the money that we put into the budget.
Sorry, would we be helping the trust or community trust, would someone be helping supply equipment to go in the sewing centre for them, or are we?
Yeah. There was a discussion of that they would need some equipment.
Yeah.
So the Youth Connect or whoever ran the youth would work with community trust to raise some money to buy some equipment. There's a lot of discussion around how that space is used, because the community trust doesn't know well so much the Chloe's going to get in April to take over. So there's work needed on that as well as equipment for that. So kind of on the back of that, in the past, I don't know whether we did have a group, but I think with my mind, it would be a good idea to formalise these sort of meetings and communications with the youth services and with young people. So at some point, I'd quite like to have some sort of group or committee or whatever structure. I don't want to add to the list of groups that we've got to attend, but I think there's a lot of work going on with young people that it would be good that we have a representative body. Sam said that there used to be a forum of the local councils that would talk about youth provision and things like that. So every time I have a conversation with someone about it, I think, well, why are we not talking to Westfield or Radstock?
Would you like me to get in touch with the other parish councils, town councils, and try and get some points of contact together?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So anyway, that's just the idea, so that we formalise in these discussions.
I think, now we've probably taken the discussion with Youth Connect South West as far as we probably can, in terms of doing the groundwork, talking about ideas and stuff like that, but now we'll probably move on to discussion with the officers, because it will probably involve a change to the contract, obviously a change to the offering and the financials and all that sort of thing, which is then outside our hand. The Community Trust obviously might be providing the premises, but it's the Town Council will be contracting Youth Connect South West to provide additional services. So is that reasonable?
If it's Youth Connect, not us.
Yeah, well, the point is they already do, don't they?
Well, there are other youth organisations around, like On the Record and so on as well.
Yeah.
So it's about what the council feels is,
Well, that's a bit true, isn't it?
provides the best portfolio of services. So that's, I agree that the discussions need to be had with some type of group, and then obviously the officers should be discussing and getting quotes with different options. Yeah.
I think the sewing centre is perfect. It doesn't have to be restricted to certain groups or anything like that. It's perfect to get. We need something for them, somewhere to go inside, be able to do stuff. So I think the sewing centre would be perfect for us as much as we can. You use it as much as we can for.
I've got a conversation booked tomorrow with the people that run the roller discos around the area, so Alex is going to be on that as well, just to see whether or not they would be able to bring a roller disco to Midsummer Norton on a weekly basis, or what that might look like, because the Sewing Centre is the perfect space really for that kind of.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's also talking retention, because they've got their own youth service and they've got the music studio over there, so they could do some type of exchange between the two with different services in different towns.
So how am I going to finance an option for this? So it's not
Should go to council, it's 10,000. Yeah, it's 10,000.
oh, that's £10 grand.
That's the
sorry.
On top of
It's £10 grand, isn't
Yeah,
it?
on top of the additional money that we already do. The conversation with Sam was really productive, wasn't it? And definitely, I think we were kind of in agreement in the idea that it'd be good to provide unstructured support for youngsters, because there is quite a lot of structured support around. And the analogy I got is, sometimes kids don't necessarily want to do structured activities, they just want somewhere safe and warm. And it's a bit like if we would go to the pub every Friday and they forced us to play bingo and do a quiz, you're going, I don't want to do this week. So I think sometimes, so he said that would be a youth cafe. So I'm really excited by the idea, and if we can support it, that'd be great. Okay.
Can I just say we've had a Summer Valley Forum meeting.
Oh, yeah, of course you can.
So I don't represent the council on it, but that's beside the point. The meeting was held, and as it is something that originally was designed so that the public could go and tell Baines what they'd like, come up with some ideas of what they'd like them to do, and then, you know, a few months later Baines would come back and say what they'd done. So that's the basic idea of the forum. And the one we had recently was, the main body was health and well-being, so that was quite good. And it's resulted in the hope that for the next meeting we're going to have a trip around Sulis Hospital. Yeah, so it'd be quite interesting. So whoever turns up, you know, we'll go in there and show us the basics and so on. And then we'll go back maybe to, I don't know, to the hub in Peasdale, and, you know, have a coffee and a chat about whatever people want to talk about. So that's June the 12th. We're hoping that Sulis will be able to stick with that and go with that.
Sorry, Sulis, is that the one at Peasdale? And that's
Yeah.
the circle. What was the circle?
That's right,
Ah,
yes.
right, okay.
Yeah.
I watched that one thing.
Did you?
I did, yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I seriously, I just sit there and just watch it. Yeah.
Is Colonel Shepherd permanent, the police officer? Is he permanent for this area?
Yes, I think he is. Yes, it's Westfield. Yeah, yeah. So, but it is nice. I mean, we always do get people like that, police and the fire brigade, that coming and giving us a chat. So, yeah, it's good. So hopefully, if we get and have a quick look around Sulis, that'd be lovely, I think. So, yeah.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you very much. Right, if everyone's happy, shall we move on? Yep. Item 14 is the clerk's report. Would anyone like to ask any questions about the clerk's report?
Oh, I'm not giving it. This is me giving it. There's my headline.
Oh, I thought that was it there. Sorry.
He always speaks.
Okay, so I sent an email out probably about a month ago asking whether or not you were in favour of me going ahead and having some conversations with the Royal British Legion about doing some kind of D-Day commemoration. So those that responded were in favour, so I went ahead and had the meeting last week. What they want to do is something quite small scale, so similar to what they do for the armistice, so not the Sunday, not the Remembrance Sunday, but just the armistice. So that's laying a wreath at 1100 at the War Memorial, facing onto the pavement, so there's no need for a road closure. They've booked a bugler, the, what's he called, Guy, the minister, Guy Scott was there as well, so he's going to do the short service. And they just want the town council to help a little bit with the administration of it, in terms of creating, printing out a programme and helping with the event plan, because there will need to be one that goes into Baines. They're going to invite about 3 children from all the local primary schools, and they're going to erect a little gazebo, and they're going to invite some media just to cover it. But they're going to try and keep it small scale. I don't want it to be a massive event. So if you're happy with that, then I'll continue to work with them and get them to help them with that.
Just one thing.
Yeah.
You said the event plan has to go to Baines. Is that going to be a full Sage jobby?
I don't think it's going to be particularly big, because we already do one for...
Yeah, okay, no, that's fine. It's
Yeah.
just that the idea of you having to go through all of that Sage stuff again, because it is very lengthy and time consuming.
Okay, so moving on to the recruitment update. So we have appointed a town trust secretary. She'll be starting on the 19th of March. So Cheryl was with us for the interviews last week. So that's very positive. And the deadline for the admin assistant and the assistant town warden is this Friday coming, with interviews being held next Wednesday, and Deb's going to be on board with us for that. So we're moving forwards. Town Hall. So we've had some decorators come round and do quotes, and Dulux have been round as well to look at all the different paints that are going to be required. This was on the recommendation of the decorator, to make sure that all the paints that are going to be used are the correct ones. I've never heard of it before, but then I've never gone out and done this sort of thing before. So I've just had the report in this evening. But in terms of a colour scheme, I'd like your input. So I wonder if you might like to volunteer, if you're interested, to have a very time-limited kind of working party. The idea is to use the branding guidelines that were put together for your Midsummer Norton, because there's a whole suite of colours that were put together, which I think are quite nice, and it's just a bit collaborative, like just to make a little bit of sense for what we're doing, and we've got some sort of colour scheme, and it flows throughout the town. Feels like as good a place to start as any. So yeah, I wonder who's interested in being part of that decision making, rather than it just the world according to Katie.
I'm colourblind, so I'll let Deb do
No,
that.
I would be.
Yeah.
Interested? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you happy to do digital representations?
Yeah. Yeah, I was
Because
thinking
in this day and age, you should be able to see it before you actually commit to the page. So I'm happy to be involved to an extent, but we should get some nice visuals in advance, shouldn't we? We should be able to do that. That'd be good.
Yeah, and then I can propose some ideas to you.
Yeah.
So, Councillor Lucas and Martin and...
How many more do you want, Katie?
I mean, I think that'll be enough if that's all, if you're happy.
So it was Charlotte, Linda, Deborah,
No?
Yeah.
Martin.
Martin.
That's
I'm an
it.
artist.
Yeah, exactly. We need your eye.
Get your context out.
Martin.
No, definitely not.
He's gone.
There's just three.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Okay, and then just an update on the annual meeting of the town. I've booked the Sohn Centre. I've made an invitation, sort of poster. I've done a registration form to sort of send out. I've got a list of invitees, so all grant recipients, Summer Valley Rediscovered, the police. I'm wondering if the Summer Valley Forum people might be interested if we invite them to it. I don't know how big we want to go, but I kind of would like your input as well. Is there anybody else that you would like to invite to this annual meeting of the town that I've not covered? Feel free to send me an
Perhaps there's kind
email.
of like community or sports groups, just invite everyone.
Well, it's also, sorry to interrupt, it's also good timing, because if you do get local sports groups and groups to come along on the 18th of April, they'll be talking about grants and things. At the beginning of May will be
Precisely.
the
So that's
post for grants for this year,
Yeah.
so they can come in and see what's available.
it's going to be, yeah. So it's obviously when you invite someone, it's different from just saying we propose that you send a representative.
Sorry?
When you invite somebody, the wording,
Yeah.
we propose that you send a representative to the annual meeting at the town hall, because you will find out about the next phase of grants and stuff as well.
Okay, yeah. Cool. And also, I think we talked very briefly about last meeting. It's going to be an evening reception. Do we want some catering? We haven't got a budget in the budget for this, but is that something that you want to set aside some money for, so that we can adequately entertain, make some sort of provision without being ridiculous? Is that something you'd like to do? Offer something? It's between 5 and 8.
Can we sell tickets for it? Without having to pay?
No.
It's going to be such a great event.
No, because it's
I'm
an
sure
annual,
happy
it's,
to put
no,
their hand in
because
their
it's a lawful meeting that you have to hold, so you can't really sell tickets.
I was thinking for the extras.
Normally we'll provide teas and coffee if you want.
Yes, and if you wanted to do anything else, perhaps some cakes.
5 to 8? Tea and cake?
Between, yeah, it could be.
What's happened historically?
I don't know, I don't think anything.
What?
I don't think you've
What
done
happened
one.
last year?
How many people go?
We never did refreshments at the last. We never did refreshments at the last one. We had lots of people there. We definitely
You
didn't.
definitely need refreshment.
We did carver reception.
Depends how you want to do it, doesn't it? Because I know, I've been to annual town meetings where they have the meeting and then they finish and then they have something, and then they did actually have wine one year. That was because they were trying to appease the residents. But then there's others I've been to. No, there's others I've been to where you just have tea and coffee at the start of the meeting or
Yes.
whatever.
This one you've got the networking first, and then you've got the meeting.
Yes, so therefore it would make sense to do tea and coffee because you've still got the issue of alcoholic meetings, haven't you?
Okay,
Tim?
Hence,
Can
that's
I ask this
why
put in our calendar?
You can
Sorry,
do alcohol
Sharon.
you
here.
don't alcohol
Because this isn't the
This is the
council
town
meeting.
meeting.
This is the town,
Mm.
what I would call the annual parish meeting.
Yeah.
It's meeting with electric, so you can have alcohol.
Tim?
Yeah, can we just help put in the calendar?
It'd be good to be on the online calendar.
Well, it's just not in, we haven't been sent an invite to it yet, is that all right? It's on the 18th of April, isn't it?
If you're worried about, I mean, it makes sense if you're going to arrange these things, if you need refreshments, to pick a venue that can provide refreshments. I mean, if you hold it in a venue like this, then you've got to bring in the catering, you've got to bring in the services. If you hold it somewhere like, well, we had that residents meeting a couple of weeks ago at Modus. The bar was open, you could buy refreshments. It just makes it a lot easier to make use of somebody else's resource that they're better at than we are.
And they've
But
got
they
a,
make some money on it as well.
and they've got a kitchen there as well where they can serve teas and coffees, haven't they?
Yeah.
Obviously, when our town hall's finished, it will be the perfect venue, but in the transition period, that's a really good point, John.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've booked the same centre back community councillor, so shall we go with Walton then?
Well, it depends if we're doing refreshments.
Walton's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends what, I mean, obviously they've got quite a lot of bookings, so you need to check with them anyway.
And they don't charge you if you have the bar open, do they?
Sorry?
They don't charge you for the event, for the having the place.
I think it
Not
depends.
if the bar's
That's what
open.
Is that
But I mean, that's just one example. There are several venues around the town that would provide a meeting room with access to refreshments.
Yeah, that's one less thing for us to worry about, yeah. I like the sound of that.
And to be honest, if you've got a functioning bar, you probably get more people turn up as well.
I will look at their availability, thank you. Yeah.
But it depends what we want to provide, doesn't it? Because obviously we want to support our own community spaces.
Well, they also are part of our community.
Yes, they are.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Excellent.
Do we want to agree, you said there's no money in the budget, so do we
But
want to agree a figure?
But if we're doing Walton Rovers, we don't need a budget
Right.
because they'll
It's
be
not
on
so-
bar.
I'm just thinking it's not so long away and with Easter, so do we want to actually set some parameters just in case it's needed so that
Or let them
you
spend.
guys have got freedom to operate?
I mean,
If
we've got,
Wellington can't do it.
We just need to ring them to tell, and will be Dave. Because his wife owns it.
Oh, okay.
Well, isn't it quite a good idea just to set a budget?
Yeah.
Like £1,000 for
Would they?
sandwiches and refreshments.
I was going to go back 500 actually.
how much
Yeah,
is
right.
that?
I guess it's so hard to know
Yeah,
if you don't know
interest.
how many people have been
Civic
invited.
was about
Yeah.
800-900, but then you bought all the trophies, you bought all the badges,
Yeah.
you bought all the wrong wording paraphernalia, and then we did put on, we put on an Indian buffet.
So let's say 500 then, we would make more than that.
And obviously that had to come from reserves, doesn't it? Because it's not in the budget.
It's going to come take over.
Yeah.
Really haven't got any money.
Would you like to propose some budget for us then to?
Yeah, I'll propose £500 from reserves to maximum towards refreshments if needed.
It seems a little bit tight.
Yeah, I
Can I
agree.
propose an amendment to make it 750? I don't want it to be a terrible event. The public can
You
try
haven't
and
got-
impress people.
Well, you don't have a lot of money you don't have a lot of money left. Your bank account at the moment is the lowest it has ever been, according to Joe. You are over budget anyway, and you've still got 3 more weeks to run.
But this is next year.
No, yeah, but we'll be spending it in this year.
What? When is it going to be spent?
I mean, it would be,
I don't know. You just wonder sometimes, isn't it?
it would be in April, it will be the new financial year.
You still got
I'll second this. Well, because I propose an amendment first. No, I propose an amendment first. Did anyone want to second the increase to £750?
I think 500's fine.
That's fine. Nobody does. Okay, so we have the substantive motion. Does anyone want to second Cheryl's motion? Yes.
Yeah, okay, it's
No, this is.
Is everyone in favour of
Yeah,
Cheryl's
let's-
proposal?
Let's go.
Okay. Everyone? £500. Well done.
So if it's going to be held at Walton Rovers, you're still going to put on food, is that what you're saying?
No,
No, but-
that's not why I understood it.
No, I understood that 500 was in case we didn't get well right.
Yeah.
But that includes food.
I thought you wanted tea and cake.
Right, so if we do it at Walton Rovers, you put it on cake.
No,
No.
everyone's going to put their hand in their pocket and play their own way.
Yeah, use their.
Because they've got facility.
So, okay, whatever.
The
So
point
we
is,
don't
in
have food,
case
is
we
it?
can get in Welcome Rovers.
Yeah.
It's
So why
also-
don't you just put on drinks then?
It's
You
also
don't
worth-
put on food at
No,
Walton.
it's a good point because I misunderstood.
I'm just confused. Do you want food or not? 'Cause if you want
No,
food,
if
it
you put
doesn't matter if
tea
it's
and
Welton
coffee
Rovers.
on, if you put tea and coffee on, you can put a bit of cake out as well, I suppose.
So that was what I understood. I
Yeah,
understood
it's
either
fine.
way we were doing tea and coffee, and if it was at
Right.
Welton, then there was
Yeah.
going to be drinks. There was going to be a bar as well.
So-
That was what I
right.
understood. So you
I didn't understand
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't understand about that.
No.
My wish, there's an alternative to Welton, you might have a cricket club as well, because they might have a phenomenal Thursday.
Okay.
It's a Skittles night in there, so Welton will have something going on there.
Okay.
But either or, whichever. The advantage of Welton is they've got secluded spaces, because I mean, on Saturday, the friends at a function there, and they had a funeral on one side and a toddler's disco on the other. So yeah, they can do two things at once. But if it's like wanting to be like a exclusive venue and there was somewhere available to do the staff of cricket clubs, another option.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Summer Valley we discovered, so we're working quite closely with them. I don't know if you've seen all the different events that they've got on running around, the Summer Valley. On the 6th of May, we're sort of organising, they are leading very heavily, but a May Day event. So starting off with Park Yoga, which is going to be running in the summer anyway. And then there's going to be some face painting and willow weaving for flower crowns, so Eco Wild are going to be coming in to do that. We're going to be doing it in the assembly rooms, providing that's all open, and we've got Unit 14 booked in case it's not. And then there's going to be a parade down the High Street with a marching band called Froome Street Bandits, if you know them, back down to the town park. And then there's going to be a family picnic in the park. There's going to be Morris dancers, and then there's going to be maybe some food vendors, ice cream vans, that kind of thing. And then between 2 and 3 there's going to be performance in the amphitheatre, like Spring Stories or a play or something, so they're trying to finalise the details, but it's going to be a really nice
This is the
event.
main event.
This is the May Day, yeah,
Okay,
the 6th of May, this is Monday bank holiday.
Have details of that gone out?
No.
Okay.
They're
That sounds
they're-
good.
yeah, they're still finalising those. Yeah. And then just a little bit I put on the end was for the town trust, it was the drains update. I don't know how many of you see all those emails that come out, if it's only the management committee, but the skate park was obviously flooded for a long time. We managed to get Metro Rod to come and have a look at the drains on the town park side of the skate park. The drains themselves have been crushed, so very limited in the water that can flow through, so they were cleared, and it has now drained out. So we know what we're looking for when it comes to inspecting, so Dave's kind of aware of where those drains come in and out now, which previously we weren't. And it looks as though we're going to have to get those sort of flushed through on a more regular basis, rather than, at some point in the future you might wish to look at replacing that whole drain, but it's under the bank, so it would need quite a lot of supporting, shoring up to be able to get to that drain and replace it. So I think the recommendation from Metro Rod was to get it flushed through on a sort of quite regular, annual basis, to keep that restricted flow of water able to move through. Yeah.
Sorry, do they know why it was crushed?
Well, I don't know if it was to do with the building of the town park and the sort of the landscaping or they don't know why, no, but it could have been movement at that
It's
time.
unusual, isn't that? Let's be honest. Who's responsible for that?
Well, that's because it's town trust, because it's town trust fund.
So which piece of land are you talking about then? Because
You know where the skate park is?
yeah,
And then there are drains that run along the batch towards the town park, so around the back of where the ISO container is. The shipping container on the
oh
back.
yeah, okay.
It's there. So it is town trust land. I'm only giving you an update just because it's been all over Facebook, and I
Yeah, it's
thought
great.
the council kind of, I know it's town trust, but as your sort of corporate.
I'm just wondering if it's that clear cut, because obviously the skate park is owned by Baines,
Yeah.
leased to Dragonfly. They were responsible for the skate park itself. The
Yeah.
drainage would have been part of that installation.
Yeah.
So
But
might well be.
so there was quite a lot of toing and froing, but they are responsible to a point in the skate park, and then there on afterwards the drains that run are ours because they're in the town park.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was last week's excitement.
Mm.
That was it. Yeah.
But in a sense, that is a really great thing to promote it, because although technically it's to blame, it's not previously been done, it's good action to have taken. It was everywhere. So it's great to see. People were really, really happy about that. It's clearly been an issue for a really, really long time and it got worse and worse. So every time it happens, it's clear we should just promote it. Even
Well,
without it bad.
I'm not on Facebook, I wouldn't go on Facebook.
That's
I
the
think the council got a little bit of abuse on there, haven't they, from a few people.
What
Got blamed
for not doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people just say the council, don't they? It's all the same. The distinction, and again, it's an awful lot of people, and some people understand the concept of stuff and perhaps don't comment, and it's a litmus or echo chamber at times, isn't it?
Well, what it should be a large gully trap,
Yeah.
which collects that muck, stops it going down the drain, but obviously that needs to be cleaned out quite regularly, just the gully trap, really.
That's probably underneath the skate park.
Shall we, shall we go to item 15, which is labelled correspondence. Midsummer Norton proposals, changes to parking restrictions forwarded on the 16th of January 23, and the Environment Agency debris screen work 2025 forwarded on the 7th of February 24, and invitation to the Summer Valley Forum on the 27th of February at 6 p.m. online. Do we have, is that something to be noted first?
Noted.
Has everyone noted that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. All received.
Right, so item 16 is a proposal to exclude the press and public. Do we have a proposer for that? Do we have a seconder? Yeah?
Yeah.
All in favour? Yeah, what we'll do is we'll just quickly adjourn the meeting, switch off our cameras, stop the live streaming. Oh my goodness, we've got 500,000 people.